If you're into thrifting, sewing, or curating a very unique sense of style, you've come to the right place. I thrift pretty much all my fabric. I love sewing, and I would say my style is eclectic, if we can say. I don't know. I make a lot of fun things. So subscribe to follow along. We're trying to get to 1 million. Just kidding, we are a long ways off, but if you want, that's still nice. A couple weeks ago, I thrifted this curtain. It's like a chocolate brown curtain. I really loved the color. I hope the color is coming across on screen accurately, but there's a lot of it, like a lot. I wasn't really sure what to do with it. I just really liked it, so I snagged it. Because I wasn't sure, I posted a story of this on my Instagram. If you don't follow me already, you can follow me because sometimes I need your opinions, like now. But you guys had a couple really good suggestions, and I said last week I wanted to work on my illustration skills because they're lacking, and I thought what a better way to do that than right now and illustrate your ideas to help visualize all the different options that we have for this fabric. Usually I'm always doing like quick 2D sketches and they're not really doing it justice. So we're going to properly illustrate 3 different design choices. Now, to improve my drawing skills, I'm going to follow an illustration class called The First Steps of Fashion Design from Concept to Illustration on Skillshare, which is the sponsor of today's video. The classes are taught by amazing creatives like professional illustrators and designers, so you're really learning from real talented creatives. You can learn more than just illustration though. There's also classes for art or graphic design, photography. This is the first of 3 designs. The suggestion was a long coat. I took it maxi. I think it could be a chic option. The teacher of this course, his name is Nolan Bellavance, and he actually has a brand called Bellavance, but he really breaks it down into super easy to follow step-by-step instructions. He also teaches you how to make a base. So you make the base and then you can always use this base to draw your designs from. He also shares some great tips and tricks about drawing fine details or doing it very fast, kind of like your typical fashion illustration. And of course, he is a fashion designer, so he understands how fabrics move, how to draw them. How do you draw something stiff versus something light and flowy? Now that I learned the basic techniques for fashion sketching and proportionate models, which is a huge thing, I think I'm going to keep pursuing learning this skill and start to draw all my future ideas properly. Just finishing up the 3rd design now. So the first 500 of you guys to click the link down in the description or scan the QR code on the screen get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. You too can also learn some fashion illustration sketching. So get started today, learn a new skill. It's really fun. Let me show you the 3 final designs and which one we're gonna go with. So you have option 1, which was the long maxi coat that I showed you already. Then another suggestion was poofy shorts with a vest, so I kind of did a poofy vest situation. It is coming to fall, so I don't know about a short option. Which brings us to the 3rd design, which is the one I want to go with actually. Okay, this is like really big pants, but this is the vision, is like huge poofy pants, because that was another suggestion, was just poofy pants. And I thought it could be cool to have them only go to the ankle, or it could be nice that they go all the way down to the ground so they hide your feet completely. Oh, that could also be cute. Now that we have the final design picked out, let's get started with a draft. I have to be very careful with my draft because I have no more paper. Luckily, I have the pant traced, but if I ever want to make adjustments, like it all has to be done to this piece. I want it to be high-waisted with a waistband. I don't know if I want a fly front anymore like I did on the drawing. So rather than the fly front and gathers all around, I'm thinking to do a nice center front and then only do gathers here so that the front of the leg is smooth and then all the volume comes here, like over the hip. Now let me show you the type of gathering I want to do. I want to challenge myself to draft something a little bit different, and I've never done this before. Yeah, let me just show you on the screen. I got it from Pinterest. It's like a scallop that you have to cut, and then once you gather, it creates that really strong structure. These are the templates I have. Let's test these out and see how they're gathering. I have my 2 samples. I already don't like the smaller template. It was way more annoying to sew the gathering. Okay, and then this is the bigger one. This one was a lot easier to sew. Let me see if I even like the structure of this, to be honest. And I don't like it. I'm not happy with the structure. Not really cute. I don't want to do this technique. I drew a new design. We're doing a very slight pivot here. This is the new design. Still similar vibes from the first one, and I actually used my mannequin from before. This was very helpful. But basically, it's a very simple chic pant with a massive panel over the hip going down all the way to the bottom. And that panel will be gathered around and then put onto the hip. So it'll still give the structure that I want. Now I just need to adjust the draft for this one. Good thing we didn't mess up the other one because I do not have room to play. I'm trying to decide the actual curve. So this, I want 2 inches from waist to top of curve. And then I want it to come down. Or we do it a bit smaller and we only do it from... I think I'm into this one. I added some notches on the curve and down the center front for when I'm sewing it later. I did the same for the back. I added a 1/2 inch along the waistband. I took it in because that was gathered, now it's not. So this is how wide the back panel will be. And then I just did the same kind of curve all the way down, added the seam allowance. And I also added 2 inches on the bottom for length and then also a hem. So pretty basic. Also, all these notches will help me when I'm gathering later and actually sewing it in. So there's a bunch. Now I need to figure out this panel and join it to the front panel so we can make one piece. I have the front and back cut. Now you can kind of see the shape of the pant, which will be kind of fun. Now it's about making that gathered middle piece. I'm going to cut each piece in half so we can start spreading it. You may know the slash and spread method. You just basically slash your pattern piece and spread it exactly how it sounds, basically. I have almost all my pattern pieces. I have the gathered section. This is a lot of fabric to be gathered into the side there, but I love it. And then I have just the front and back panels. I'm going to leave the waistband later because I actually want to cut this out first to even fit it on me and see if it's fitting right. I'm going to leave it here for today, and then tomorrow we will cut and actually make the pants. I hope this works out. We're back and we're gonna start cutting and sewing the pants. If you've gathered, I never really trust my pattern making. I just make it and then trust the process. Okay, how much does this take? Here we go. Ready to sew. We're gonna start putting these panels together with the inseam and the tiny little side seam as well. I'm not going to serge quite yet. Just finished sewing it together and I did make a mistake. I realized I didn't walk my pattern and make sure my side seams line up, which is a very rookie mistake, but I can alter it. It's not a problem. I'm going to try it on. This is what the front will look like. This is the back. There will be a invisible zipper. I ended up putting some biker shorts on. That way you can actually see how the fitting is going because it's not bad, but I am happy I did not cut out the side panel yet. It's not the whole pant, but you can see the part that matters. The crotch is like okay. I think once the waistband is on and it holds it in place, it'll be good. I did take in the side just a wee bit. I added a lot more when I was cutting it out and I'm glad I did that. But the back panel, like this is how the back is fitting. This panel is hanging a lot wider than I thought. So if I add this, like the edge of the seam is like right here, so I'm only having a few inches to gather in, not a lot. So I'm thinking to expand it by quite a bit, and I'll do this when I'm cutting it out. Not bad. It's like the Angelina Jolie leg. Maybe we can make it as wide as we can, and I just need to make sure I have enough fabric later on for the waistband. And I could add like this much to it, which I think will give it the fullness I'm looking for. If I don't like it, I can always trim it down. Will this work? I don't know, but I'm hoping. That is a very large panel. Oh, this is amazing. This is really what I wanted. I serged the seams, so now it's a lot better, a lot cleaner. Now let's do the gathering stitch on the top of this panel and try and start inserting it into the actual pant. I have a feeling it's gonna be a very full pant. Okay, this is what it's looking like so far. That is the vision. Goes on the other side, that's the back, this is the front. So this goes here, that goes here, and then we need to figure out the curve. Okay. Guys, I think it's working. Okay, now that I know it's working, I'm going to stitch the long sides now and officially put it in with a regular stitch, because this is just a basting stitch. I'm like surprised it worked. Let's just hope that it fits still okay. So I'm just holding the pants right now. Of course, nothing is pressed or fitting exactly the way I want it to, but this is the idea. Yeah, this needs to be up more. I will say the crotch, the front crotch, there's something about it, but I'm not sure how to fix it, and I'm hoping that when I add the waistband on that it will like keep it straighter. I think it's just because there's a lot of weight on the side, so it's just pulling it a bit funny. But now we need to figure out the waistband. I have this much scrap fabric left for the waistband, which I think is enough. I'm just doing a bunch of rectangles, one across the front and then two on the back, and then I'll just make them wide enough so I can just fold them in half. I think that's honestly just like the easiest way to do it. Waistband fused. Let's just pop this together and see if this will work. It's feeling sturdy, which is nice. And then it will go in half, so it'll be this wide around the top of the pant. I also serged the bottom. Now let's see if it fits across. Waistband is on. It fit pretty well. Actually, I did have to stop, adjust the seam allowance and keep going, but it worked out. I'm just going to add the zipper before we do one final fitting. I want to make sure that it's all fitting okay around the crotch area before I finalize the waistband. I just had one of the worst things happen. I just input my zipper, I was zipping it up, and then it split. Oh, that was so irritating. Luckily, I have two of the same zipper. Do I? Uh-oh. Okay, yes, I do. The pants are back on. The zipper is in. I think I'm just going to like take in the sides here. Basically the very first drawing, we've pivoted a lot from that, but this is how it goes. You just see how it looks and make design decisions on the fly. Almost done. I finished the waistband. It's all complete. I took in the sides a little bit. Zipper's in. I serged the very bottom of the pants. Now I'm just gonna do the tiniest little hem, like probably a 1/4 inch hem. And it's complete. I will say, pants are difficult, but I should practice more and try to make pants again, because these are okay, but I feel like I could do better. But let's jump to the final styling of our very hippie sculptural pants.